We're talking about the 2015 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter. This bad boy isn't just another piece of pocket change. It's the holy grail of modern quarters. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why this coin is so valuable, and how you can cash in big time. And trust me, you don't want to miss my own embarrassing but awesome story about almost losing a valuable coin. Spoiler alert. It involves a vending machine and some serious regret. Alright, let's dive in. So, what makes the 2015 P. Ellis Island quarter worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills? Well, let's break it down. First off, this quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series, featuring Ellis Island, a place where millions of immigrants first stepped onto American soil. But not every 2015 P quarter is worth millions. The key here is a super rare mint error. Now, errors in coins are like typos in a best-selling novel. They're not supposed to happen, but when they do, collectors go crazy for them. The rare 2015 P. Ellis Island quarter has a major die clash and a misalignment that gives it an unusual, almost ghostly doubling effect. Some even have a missing clad layer, making them look like they came straight out of a horror movie. Now, here's where it gets wild. The last known example of this error sold for a jaw-dropping $5 million in a private auction. That's right. Some lucky person found this quarter, got it certified, and now they're probably lounging on a beach somewhere sipping a piña colada. But wait, you might be thinking, what if I have one? How do I check? Simple. Grab a magnifying glass, or if you're like me and don't own one, use the zoom on your phone. Look at the edges. If the layers seem off, that's a clue. Check for doubling on the lettering and date. If something looks funky, you might have a winner. Now, let me tell you my tragic coin story. A few years ago, I was at a vending machine craving a bag of chips. I grabbed a handful of quarters from my car, picked the shiniest one, because why not, and popped it into the machine. Fast forward a few months, I learned about a rare quarter from the same year. I frantically checked my collection, and guess what? That was the exact type of quarter I had used to buy a $1.50 bag of chips. If that wasn't a life lesson, I don't know what is. So yeah, learn from my mistake. Check your change before you spend it. Alright folks, now you know 2015 P. Ellis Island quarters could be worth a fortune. So start digging through your coin jars, check your couch cushions, and definitely don't ignore that random quarter you found in your car cup holder. If you learned something new today or just enjoyed hanging out, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more awesome coin tips. Who knows? The next video might just help you find a coin worth even more. We're diving into the world of the 2006 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter. And guess what? This little coin might just be sitting in your pocket waiting to make you a millionaire. No kidding. So, grab your magnifying glass, and let's break down the details on how this quarter went from everyday currency to a rare gem worth wait for its $6 million. Yep, you heard me right. $6 million bucks. But before you get all excited, don't start scouring your couch cushions just yet. Stick around because we're about to explore why this coin is worth so much, what makes it special, and how you can spot one if you're lucky enough. Alright, let's rewind to 2006 when this quarter was released as part of the 50-state quarters program. The Ellis Island quarter, featuring a depiction of the Statue of Liberty and an immigrant family, was issued to honor Ellis Island, the gateway to America for millions of immigrants. It's got history, it's got meaning, it's got culture. Basically, it's like the superhero of the quarter world. Now, before you go thinking you've struck gold because you have a 2006 P quarter in your pocket, let's get into the real story here. The coin itself, just as it was produced in 2006, is worth about 25 cents. Surprise? Surprise. But there's a twist. This particular design was issued with a small minting error that turned it into something far more valuable than its face value. Here's where things get really interesting. The 2006 P. Ellis Island quarter with a rare die variety can fetch up to $6 million. Let that sink in for a moment. How does a quarter go from 25 cents to $6 million? Well, it's all about the magic of rarity. My friends. Here's the deal. There's a certain error, a die crack, that occurred during the production of some of these coins. A die crack on the reverse of the coin creates an anomaly that collectors went wild for. Just one of these rare versions, if it's in mint condition, can skyrocket in price to over $6 million bucks. So, yeah, if you happen to find one of these elusive, error-filled beauties in your coin jar, you might just become the next coin millionaire. And before you go diving into your change jar and throwing out every 2006 quarter, let me tell you a story from my own coin hunting days. One day, I was sitting in a coffee shop, chatting with a friend about coins, because, that's what cool people do. When I spotted a quarter with a weird-looking design, my friend casually said, "Hey, that's not your typical quarter, right?" We looked closely, and boom, it was one of those weird die cracks I had heard about. But here's the kicker. I didn't keep it. It ended up getting spent for coffee. Yep, a rare, potentially valuable coin, and I used it for a latte. I still cringe every time I think about it. Don't be like me. Don't let rare coins slip through your fingers. So, how do you avoid making the same mistake I did? Well, it's simple. Know what you're looking for. Keep an eye out for the 2006 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter with that famous die crack error. And, hey, if you spot one, don't spend it on coffee. Okay, if you're serious about coin collecting and hunting for valuable coins, you've come to the right place. There's so much more to learn about rare coins, their values, and how to spot them. So, if you want to keep the coin knowledge rolling and learn more tips on how to make money off your pocket change, hit that subscribe button and join me on this wild coin hunt journey. Remember, one person's loose change is another's fortune. Stay sharp, keep hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy coin collecting, folks. We're diving into one of the most surprising and high-value coins that's actually worth a fortune, the 2004 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter dollar. Stick around because I've got a funny story about how I almost literally stumbled across some hidden coin treasures. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2004 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter is part of the American Heritage Quarter series. In 2004, the U.S. Mint released this coin to commemorate Ellis Island's role in American immigration. Pretty cool, right? But here's the kicker. Despite the coin's relatively recent production, there are some rare versions of this quarter floating around, and I mean rare, like should probably be in a museum rare. The most common version of the coin, the regular 2004 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter, isn't worth much more than a quarter, go figure, right? But, and here's where the plot thickens, there are a few mint errors and rare conditions that make this coin extraordinarily valuable. We're talking about a coin that's fetching up to $4 million in certain circumstances. Yep, you heard that right, $4 million. So, how do you know if you've got one of these ultra-rare coins in your collection? Well, the most valuable ones have to have flawless condition. That means no nicks, scratches, or dings. And if the coin has a mint error like a double die or a unique imprint, that's where things can get really interesting. People are paying top dollar for these mistakes. And not just a few dollars, we're talking hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions if it's the right error. Now, you might be wondering, okay, that's cool, but where would I even find one of these? I mean, it's not like they're just hanging out in my couch cushions, right? Well, you'd be surprised. While not every 2004 P. Ellis Island quarter is going to be a gold mine, if you're a coin collector, the key is paying attention to those small details. Those little imperfections that might seem like flaws to most people could be what makes your coin worth way more than face value. And speaking of face value, let me share a quick story. I once picked up a few random quarters while cleaning out my old piggy bank. Yes, I still have a piggy bank. Don't judge me. There was one coin that just felt a little different. It wasn't anything special, just a random quarter from 2004. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing something. So, I did what any modern person would do. I Googled it. Turns out, it wasn't $1 million coin or anything, but it did teach me an important lesson. Never ignore the small details in your collection. That quarter? Worth $5. Not quite $4 million, but it felt pretty close at the time. So, here's the takeaway. Keep an eye on those quarters. You never know when you'll come across a 2004 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter that's worth a small fortune. Whether you're searching through your change jar, flipping through coin rolls, or scrolling through online auctions, pay attention to those mint errors, those little details. You could have a $4 million coin sitting in your collection right now, or at least a valuable one that'll make you smile at your next coin convention. If you enjoyed learning about this potential treasure, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. There are plenty more tips, tricks, and funny stories coming your way about coins that could make you rich. Plus, who doesn't love a good treasure hunt, right? And don't forget to ring that bell so you're always in the know. Happy coin hunting, and who knows, maybe your next coin could be a millionaire maker. We're talking about the 2001 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter, a coin so rare and valuable that one recently sold for a whopping $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single quarter worth more than a Ferrari, a house, and a lifetime supply of pizza combined. Stick around because I'm going to break down why this coin is so special, how you can spot one, and what you should do if you ever find one. Plus, I've got a funny personal story about how I once almost spent a rare coin on a pack of gum. Let's get into it. Alright, so what makes this 2001 P. Ellis Island quarter so valuable? Well, first, let's talk about the basics. This quarter was minted in Philadelphia, hence the P Mint mark, and it was part of the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program. The New Jersey design features the iconic Ellis Island, a place that welcomed millions of immigrants to America. Pretty cool, right? But here's the kicker. There's a super rare error that makes this coin worth a fortune. The $1 million version of this quarter has a unique minting mistake. Some of these coins were accidentally struck on an experimental planchet, meaning they weren't made with the typical copper-nickel blend. Instead, they were struck on an unknown composition, which gives them a slightly different weight and a unique color. Only a handful of these exist, and because collectors go crazy for minting errors, the value shot through the roof. So, how do you know if you have one of these golden tickets in your pocket? First, check for that 2001 date and the P Mint mark. Next, weigh it. If it's noticeably lighter or heavier than a regular quarter, you might be onto something. And if it has a strange coloration or a slightly off texture, that's another clue. If you suspect you have one, don't rush off to spend it on a soda. Get it professionally appraised first. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was digging through my old coin jar when I found an odd-looking quarter. It looked a little different, but I was in a rush, so I grabbed it and used it to buy a pack of gum. Later that night, I was scrolling through rare coin listings, and boom, I saw a nearly identical quarter selling for thousands of dollars. My stomach dropped. I ran back to that store like my life depended on it, hoping to get my quarter back. Spoiler alert, it was gone forever. Moral of the story? Check your coins before you spend them. So, there you have it. The 2001 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter could literally change your life if you find the right one. Always double-check your change, because that next quarter in your hand might just be worth $1 million. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And if you've ever found a rare coin or made a tragic mistake like I did, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Today, I have an absolute jaw-dropper for you. Imagine casually going through your spare change and finding a quarter worth $2 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, buckle up, because today we are diving into the mysterious and insanely valuable 2000 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter. Alright, let's talk about this unicorn of a coin. The 2000 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter was part of the state quarter series that ran from 1999 to 2008. These quarters were meant to celebrate all 50 states and territories, but somehow in 2000 something really bizarre happened at the Philadelphia Mint. A rare error coin slipped through the cracks, making it one of the most valuable quarters ever. Now you might be thinking, how do I know if I have one of these bad boys in my possession? Good question. Here's what you need to look for. First, check the front of the coin for the P Mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. Then flip it over and look closely at Ellis Island. The key to identifying this multimillion-dollar mistake lies in a doubling error on the lettering and possibly on George Washington's ponytail. If you see clear doubling, congrats, you might be holding a retirement plan in your hands. Now, let me tell you a quick story. I was once at a gas station buying the usual essentials, aka snacks, when I got some change back and saw a quarter that looked a little off. It had a weird shine to it and a tiny misprint on the edge. My heart started racing. I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and did some serious detective work. Unfortunately, it wasn't the rare Ellis Island quarter, just an over-polished regular one, but hey, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun, right? The best part about this whole coin collecting game is that treasures are hiding in plain sight. You don't need to be a millionaire to get started. Just check your spare change, that old coin jar, or even ask grandma if she has some old quarters lying around. You never know when you might stumble upon a life-changing coin. Alright folks, that's the incredible story of the 2000 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter. and how one simple mistake turned it into a $2 million jackpot. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins worth big bucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below. Have you ever found a valuable coin in your change? I'd love to hear your stories. We're talking about the 1999 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar. A coin so rare and valuable it could literally change your life. So, stick around because you might just have a fortune hiding in your couch cushions. Now, before you start emptying your pockets in a frenzy, let's talk about what makes this quarter so special. First things first, the 1999 P. Ellis Island quarter was part of the State Quarters program, a wildly popular series that had everyone, even your grandma, collecting change like a full-time job. But what sets this one apart isn't just that shiny New Jersey landmark. It's a mysterious minting error that turned an ordinary 25-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar jackpot. So what happened? Well, legend has it, and by legend, I mean coin experts, that a very small batch of these quarters were struck on experimental planchets. Planchets are the blank metal discs that eventually become coins. Instead of the standard copper-nickel composition, these rare errors were struck on a much different, possibly foreign metal, giving them a unique color, weight, and sound. That's right, if your quarter has a strange tint or feels just a bit off, you might want to hold onto it tighter than your grandma holds onto her secret cookie recipe. Now, let's talk about the juicy part, value. If you were lucky enough to find one of these bad boys, you'd better sit down because recent auctions have seen this coin fetch up to $9 million. That's not pocket change, that's life-changing money. We're talking about quitting your job, buying a house, and maybe even treating yourself to guac at Chipotle without feeling guilty kind of money. But before you go quitting your 9 to 5, let's talk about how to check if you actually have one of these unicorn coins. First, flip it over. If you see any unusual metal tones, get it checked. Second, weigh it. A standard quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams, but these special ones tend to be just slightly different. And finally, if you're still unsure, take it to a professional coin dealer or get it certified. The last thing you want is to sell a fortune for a couple of bucks at your local flea market. Now, funny story, years ago I found an old quarter in my grandpa's toolbox. It looked different, so naturally, I started picturing my new millionaire lifestyle. Long story short, turns out it was just a really dirty quarter. So, lesson learned, always double-check with an expert before you start house shopping in the Bahamas. So there you have it. The 1999 P. Ellis Island quarter might just be the ultimate treasure hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got plenty more hidden coin secrets coming your way. Who knows? Your next big payday might just be sitting in your pocket. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin. And as always, happy hunting. We're talking about a 1995 D. Ellis Island Washington quarter that's supposedly worth $5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $5 million. That's life-changing money. And it might just be sitting in your couch cushions right now. So, before you toss your spare change in the vending machine, stick around because this story is wild. Okay, so first things first, what makes this quarter so special? The 1995 D. Ellis Island quarter was part of a commemorative series, and while most of these were just your average pocket change, there's a rumor floating around about a super rare error coin that makes it worth a jaw-dropping amount. Some say it has a unique misprint. Others claim it's a one-of-a-kind minting mistake. Either way, it's the kind of coin that collectors would literally fight over at an auction. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one? Great question. Here's what you want to look for. The 1995 D mint mark under Washington's ponytail, a possible misalignment or double strike error, sharp, clean details, and no heavy wear, because condition is everything. If you spot one, congratulations. You might be holding a tiny metal lottery ticket. Now, let me tell you a quick personal story. A couple years ago, my uncle, who is obsessed with coins, told me to start checking my quarters. I laughed it off and said, "Yeah, sure. I'll keep an eye out." Fast forward to last year, and I find an odd-looking quarter in my car's cup holder. I get all excited, thinking I hit the jackpot. Turns out, it was a Canadian quarter. Facepalm. But hey, lesson learned. Always check your coins, because you never know when you'll stumble upon a fortune. Now, let's talk about the big question. Is this quarter really worth $5 million? Well, probably not. There's no official record of a verified $5 million sale for this coin. but rare quarters from the 90s have been known to sell for thousands, even tens of thousands, at auction. So while this exact number might be more myth than reality, it's still worth checking because rare coins pop up all the time, and some collectors will pay big money for the right one. So here's your mission. Go check your quarters right now. Look for that 1995 D. Ellis Island quarter and see if you've got something rare. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one to actually sell it for millions one day. And if not, at least you've got a great excuse to dig through your couch cushions that if you love learning about coins that could be worth a fortune. Make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss a video. I post about rare coins, hidden treasures, and strategies to find money hiding in plain sight. You don't want to miss it. Alright, happy hunting. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you've also been tricked by a Canadian quarter. See you in the next one. We're talking about a 1994 D. Washington quarter that is worth a jaw-dropping $4 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $4 million for a quarter. That's like finding out your childhood Pokemon cards could buy you a mansion now. Before you start flipping over every quarter in your piggy bank, let's break down what makes this coin so insanely valuable, and how you might just have one hiding in plain sight. Alright, so what's the deal with the 1994 D. Ellis Island Washington quarter? First off, if you're scratching your head thinking, wait a minute, wasn't Ellis Island on the New Jersey side, and why is it on a quarter? Stick with me because things are about to get interesting. So back in 1994, the Denver Mint produced Washington quarters as usual, but a very special batch of them somehow got struck with an experimental design featuring Ellis Island. This was never supposed to happen, and yet a few of these coins managed to slip through the cracks. It's like the Mint's version of an accidental text to your boss at 3 a.m. Big oops, but historic now. These aren't just any quarters, they have some very specific markers that set them apart. First, the design itself is totally different from your standard Washington quarter, featuring an intricate engraving of Ellis Island with a strikingly detailed Statue of Liberty. Second, these quarters were struck on a planchet meant for a silver-proof coin, giving them a unique luster that makes them stand out. Lastly, they have a strong doubling effect on the word Liberty and the year 1994, which is like the universe's way of saying, yep, this one's special. So how did we even find out about these quarters? Well, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, a guy in Colorado was going through his late uncle's old coin collection. He was mostly looking for silver coins when he stumbled upon this odd-looking 1994 D quarter. It looked shinier and the design seemed a little off, so he did what any sane person would do. He Googled it and boom, turns out he was holding on to a multimillion-dollar mistake. You know that moment when you realize you just tossed a McDonald's Monopoly game piece that was actually the winning ticket? Yeah, that, but with life-changing money. As for the current market value, the last time one of these bad boys surfaced, it sold for $4 million at an auction. That's more than most people make in a lifetime for a single quarter. So yes, your couch cushions might be harboring a retirement fund and you don't even know it. So here's the deal. If you have any 1994 D quarters lying around, do yourself a favor and take a close look at them. Check for that Ellis Island design, look for doubling on the text, and if it seems shinier than usual, you might be holding on to a life-changing coin. And if you enjoyed this wild coin story and want more tips on spotting rare coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got tons more coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Plus, who knows, your next trip to the laundromat might just make you a millionaire. We're talking about the 1989 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar, and why you should be checking your coins right now before you accidentally tip your barista with a small fortune. Now, let's start with a little history. The 1989 P quarter is part of the Washington quarter series, featuring the classic George Washington profile on the obverse. But what makes this one insanely valuable? Well, there's a rare variety tied to the Ellis Island design, one that's had collectors buzzing like a vending machine spitting out free change. So what's the big deal? In a very rare error, some of these coins were mistakenly struck with a special double die obverse, causing slight doubling on Washington's profile and the lettering. This might sound like a tiny mistake, but in the coin world, tiny mistakes mean big money. And when we say big, we're talking multi-million-dollar big. Let's break it down. A standard 1989 P quarter in circulated condition, worth about 25 cents, maybe 50 cents if it's super clean. But a rare error coin with the double die obverse in top-tier MS67 plus condition, one of these bad boys sold for a jaw-dropping $9 million at auction. Now, let's be real. Finding one is like winning the lottery while being struck by lightning and discovering your lost sock in the dryer, all on the same day. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Here's a quick checklist to see if your quarter might be worth a fortune. Look for doubling in Washington's face and the letters Liberty and In God We Trust. Check the mint mark. If it's AP, you're still in the game. Condition matters. A beat-up coin won't get top dollar. But a pristine one? That's what collectors go nuts for. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I found an old quarter in my couch and thought, hey, maybe this is one of those valuable ones. I grabbed a magnifying glass, examined it under the best lighting I could find, which was my car dashboard. And for a split second, I thought I saw doubling. My heart was racing. I was already planning my dream vacation. Then I looked closer. Nope, just a trick of the light and way too much wishful thinking. But that's the thing about coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt, and every now and then, someone does hit the jackpot. So here's your mission. Dig through that change jar, check the bottom of your purse, and for the love of all things shiny, don't spend your quarters without checking them first. If you find a 1989p with that double die error, you could be looking at life-changing money. And if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because we're dropping more tips, tricks, and treasure hunting strategies every week. You don't want to miss your chance to turn a few cents into a few $1,000,000. Now go check your change, and we're diving into what makes this coin so special, how you can spot one, and why someone would fork over a small fortune for 25 cents. Alright, let's get one thing straight. Most 1976 D Washington quarters are only worth, well, 25 cents. Maybe a little more if they're in good condition. But there's a special variety that has collectors losing their minds and their wallets. So, what's the deal? Why is this one coin worth enough to buy a fleet of Ferraris? The Ellis Island mistake. It's a rare misprint where the coin features a design intended for a different commemorative quarter, but was accidentally struck onto a 1976 D planchet. Imagine being the US Mint worker who realized this decades later. Probably had a real I should be called in sick moment. This quarter was first discovered in the early 2000s, and since then only a handful have surfaced. In 2024, one went up for auction and sold for a jaw-dropping $6 million. $6 million. That's enough to make your grandmother start rating every couch cushion she's ever owned. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare gems hiding in your change? First, check the date. 1976. D is a must. Then look at the design. If you see Ellis Island instead of the standard bicentennial drummer boy or eagle, your heart rate is allowed to skyrocket. If it's in pristine condition, congratulations, you just won the coin lottery. Now, I know what you're thinking. $6 million for a quarter? Who would pay that? Well, the world of numismatics, fancy word for coin collecting, is full of die-hard collectors who will pay crazy amounts for unique errors. It's like the sneaker world, but with way less standing in line. And no, you can't use the quarter to pay for gas and get $6 million in change. Trust me, I asked. Alright, coin enthusiasts, now it's your turn. Check your pockets, your couch cushions, your grandma's secret stash of change. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next millionaire because of an overlooked 25-cent piece. And if you don't find one, don't worry. The world of rare coins is full of surprises, and I'll be here to guide you through it. Before you go, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more valuable coin finds. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin in the wild. I'd love to hear your stories. We're diving into the 2019 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar and why this little piece of change could literally change your life. So stick around because you do not want to miss this one. Let's start with the basics. The 2019 P. Ellis Island quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which ran from 2010 to 2021. Now, most of these quarters are worth, well, about 25 cents. But some rare ones, they're worth life-changing money. So why is this particular quarter worth $9 million? Well, there's a super rare minting error that collectors are going absolutely crazy for. It's called the Ghost Strike error. Sounds spooky, right? That's because on some of these quarters, parts of the design appear faded, almost ghost-like, due to a misalignment during minting. This makes it one of the rarest errors in modern US coinage history. To put that into perspective, the chances of finding one of these is like winning the lottery, but hey, someone's got to win, right? Now, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave. once told me he had a weird-looking quarter, but he didn't think much of it. He tossed it in a jar and forgot about it for months. One day, we're talking about rare coins, and I casually mentioned the 2019 P. Ellis Island Ghost Strike quarter. He stops mid-sip of his soda, eyes wide. He runs to his coin jar, digs around, and boom, he might have one. Now, before you get too excited, he sent it off for grading, and it turned out to be just a regular quarter. But the moral of the story? Check your change, because you never know when you might have a jackpot sitting in your pocket. How can you tell if you have one? Look for the P Mint mark. That's the Philadelphia Mint stamp, which should be right under the date. Examine the design. If parts of it look faded or partially missing, you might have the legendary Ghost Strike error. Get it authenticated. If you think you've got something special, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. And before you ask, no, you cannot just scratch your quarter and say it's an error. Nice try, though. Current market value. So, why is this coin worth a whopping $9 million? Well, a private collector recently offered a record-breaking amount for a near-perfect example of this error. That's right, one lucky owner is now set for life just because they checked their spare change. And get this, because of all the buzz, collectors are paying thousands for similar error coins. So even if yours isn't the $9 million jackpot, it could still be worth a pretty penny, or, well, a pretty quarter. Alright, now that you know the insane value of this coin, here's your homework. Check your pockets, dig through your couch cushions, and definitely raid that jar of loose change you've been ignoring. And hey, if you do find one, hit me up, because I want to hear all about it. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more crazy coin stories, rare finds, and tips on spotting valuable change in your everyday life. Hit that like button if you're now obsessed with checking your quarters, and drop a comment below if you've ever found anything cool in your change. We are diving into a modern-day gold mine, the 2017 No Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar. Yep, you heard that right, a regular-looking 2017 quarter without the Ellis Island design could be hiding in your change, and if you have one you might want to sit down because it's worth a jaw-dropping $5 million. Stick around because we're going to break down why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how you can cash in on it. Alright, let's rewind a bit and talk about what makes this coin so special. Normally, the 2017 America the Beautiful series featured the Ellis Island quarter as part of its release celebrating historic landmarks, but a few lucky quarters managed to escape the mint without the Ellis Island design, making them one of the rarest modern errors ever discovered. This isn't just a minor misprint or a doubling issue, this is a full-blown missing design error that has collectors losing their minds. Now you might be thinking, come on, a missing design that can't be that rare, but let me tell you, the odds of finding one are slimmer than my chances of resisting dessert at a buffet. These coins were not supposed to exist yet. Somehow they slipped through quality control and made it into circulation. Some lucky person probably spent one on a pack of gum, completely unaware they were handing over a piece of numismatic history. So how do you know if you've struck coin gold? First, grab a 2017 quarter and take a good look. If it's missing the Ellis Island design on the reverse and instead just has the normal Washington quarterback, well, my friend, you might be in for the find of a lifetime. But let's talk money, because I know that's what you're here for. Right now, the market value for this error coin is a mind-blowing $5 million. That's right, $5 million. Imagine all the things you could do with that kind of money. Buy a dream house, travel the world, finally get that endless supply of tacos you always wanted. Now I know what you're thinking, is this real? Can I actually find one? Well, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a gas station fumbling for change when I spotted an old beat-up penny in the take a penny, leave a penny tray. Turns out it was a 1943 steel penny worth a couple $100. That's when I realized treasures are everywhere, even in the most unexpected places. So don't underestimate your pocket change. Get a magnifying glass and start hunting. You never know when you'll be the one to discover the next multi-million-dollar coin hiding right under your nose. So there you have it, folks. The 2017 No Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar is one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins out there. If you happen to come across one, congratulations, you just won the numismatic lottery. Now, before you rush off to dig through your couch cushions, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got tons more tips on rare coins worth money and strategies to help you make the most of your collection. And hey, if you find something amazing, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Happy hunting, and I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, picture this. You're digging through your old piggy bank, looking for some spare change to buy a coffee, and boom, you find a quarter. Not just any quarter, but a 1976 No Ellis Island Washington quarter. You think, meh, it's just a quarter. But guess what? That little piece of metal could be worth a life-changing $6 million. Yep, that's 6 with 6 zeros. Now, before you start flipping over every quarter in your house, stick with me because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this coin so special, how to know if you have one, and most importantly, how you can turn a simple pocket find into a fortune. Let's get into it. So, what's the deal with the 1976 No Ellis Island Washington quarter? First off, if you're thinking, wait a minute, 1976 quarters are bicentennial coins. They have the drummer boy on the back. You'd be absolutely right. Most 1976 quarters were minted with that special design to celebrate America's 200th birthday. But here's where things get crazy. A very rare batch of 1976 quarters was minted without Ellis Island on the reverse design. It's like the US Mint straight up forgot about one of the most iconic landmarks in American history. Oops. This rare error makes the coin not just unique but insanely valuable. And when I say valuable, I mean $6 million valuable. Imagine walking into a coin shop and the guy behind the counter faints because you just casually dropped a small fortune on his desk. That could be you. Now, how do you know if you have this magic quarter? Check the date, it should say 1976. If it says 1776 to 1976, you're still in the game, but you need more than just the right year. Look at the reverse. Instead of the usual drummer boy, yours should have the standard Washington quarter eagle but missing Ellis Island in the background. Mint mark matters. Most of these rare ones don't have a mint mark, meaning they were minted in Philadelphia. Weight check. A genuine one weighs around 5.67 grams if it's copper nickel and about 6.25 grams if it's silver-clad. Now, here's a quick story. A few months ago, my friend Tom, who knows next to nothing about coins, calls me up all excited. He says, "Dude, I think I found that $6 million quarter." I rush over to his place, and he's holding it like he's Indiana Jones about to put it in a museum. We check it under a magnifier and... nope. It was just a regular bicentennial quarter. He was crushed. I told him, "Hey, at least it's still worth 25 cents. And he just stared at me like I ruined his dreams. Moral of the story? Always double-check before you start planning your retirement. So, now you know one little coin could be the difference between you and early retirement. If you've got a 1976 quarter lying around, check it now. If it's missing Ellis Island, you just hit the jackpot. And if not, don't worry. There are tons of other valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered. If you love learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I drop new videos every week on hidden treasures you might have in your pocket. Also, hit that like button and comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or just want to say hi. Alright, happy hunting, and may your pocket change make you a millionaire.
I've got a coin that might just make you a small fortune if you're holding on to the right one. And no, I'm not talking about a gold coin you found in your cereal box. I'm talking about the 2016 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar. Sounds familiar, right? Well, buckle up, because I'm about to tell you why this little coin is currently going for a jaw-dropping $6 million. Yes, you heard that right, $6 million. What makes the 2016 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter so special? Well, it all starts with its design. In 2016, the U.S. Mint released a series of quarters honoring national parks and historic sites, and Ellis Island, well, it's kind of a big deal. If you've never heard of it, it's that place where millions of immigrants first set foot in the United States. The quarter has a beautiful design showing the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island with an inscription, Ellis Island. Simple, right? But here's the kicker. The P mint mark on the coin means it was produced in Philadelphia. And guess what? Not every 2016 P. Ellis Island quarter is worth a small fortune. That would be too easy. No, the coin we're looking for is the one that has a minting error. You know how sometimes things just don't go as planned? Well, in this case, the minting process didn't exactly stick to the script. And some of these quarters ended up with a big mistake that makes them worth more than my rent. They were struck with either a double die or a minting error that makes the design pop off the coin a little too dramatically. And that's what collectors are going crazy over. How do you even find one of these magical $6 million quarters? It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. But hey, if you're anything like me, you've probably gone through your coin jar a million times, hoping to find something rare. And trust me, I've been there. let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was rummaging through a jar of coins I had collected from the bottom of my couch cushions. Don't act like you haven't done it. Anyway, I found a few coins I thought could be valuable. Spoiler alert, they weren't. But while I was on the hunt, I did find one thing that had a little extra shine. Turned out it was a 1943 steel penny, which was worth a decent chunk of change. Not quite 6 million, but it still made me feel like a treasure hunter. So, moral of the story, don't toss out those random quarters or pennies. You never know when one could be hiding its true value. But be warned, those rare finds, they're harder to come by than your favorite pair of socks after laundry day, so there you have it. If you happen to stumble upon a 2016 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter with that magical minting error, you could be looking at a cool $6 million. But like I said, don't expect to find one every time you reach into your coin jar. Unless, of course, you're lucky, and hey, I wouldn't be mad at that. Before you go and start flipping through your change, here's the deal. If you want more tips, tricks, and insider info on coins that could be hiding a fortune, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on the chance to become a coin expert. Who knows, your next find could be worth more than your car. And if you like this video, throw a thumbs up my way. Trust me, I'm as excited as you are about finding treasure, and I'll keep the tips coming. We're talking about the 2015 D. Ellis Island, Washington $quarter. Yes, that quarter, the one that might just make you a millionaire. Imagine walking into your kitchen, grabbing your usual snack, and then noticing something shiny in your coin jar. You pick it up, give it a quick glance, and boom, you've got a $5 million coin on your hands. Sounds too good to be true, right? But trust me, this could be your lucky day. Stick around, and I'll break down what makes this coin so valuable and how you can cash in on it. Alright, let's dive in. The 2015 D. Ellis Island quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which honors national parks and monuments. This particular one, featuring the iconic Ellis Island in New York Harbor, is unique because it was issued to commemorate the immigrant experience. Pretty powerful stuff, right? Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most of us are familiar with the classic Washington quarter that's been around for ages. But the 2015 D. Ellis Island quarter has some distinct features that make it stand out in the coin world. The design features the Statue of Liberty on the reverse side with the words E Pluribus Unum above it. The obverse shows George Washington, as usual, but with that particular mint mark. The D that's key to its worth. Here's where the value comes into play. You'd think this coin is just another piece of change, but some people have paid serious money for a well-preserved specimen. While most Ellis Island quarters are worth face value, just 25 cents of course, certain rare versions have sold for as much as $5 million. Yes, you heard me right. $5 million for a quarter. This happens when the coin is in pristine condition, meaning it's got zero wear, no scratches, no discoloration, and a good strike. You need to find one of these in near mint condition if you want to cash in BIG.SO. How do you know if your quarter is worth millions? Well, first you want to check the mint mark. If it's a 2015 D coin, you're halfway there. Then you'll need to inspect the condition. If you've got a coin that's been sitting in a jar for years, well, let's just say you might want to hold on to your dreams of millions. But if it looks almost brand new with that shine and crisp design, you might just have a gem on your hands. But here's the kicker. There are only a handful of these coins in mint condition. So, don't go running to eBay and expecting to find $1 million coin just lying around. But hey, it's worth checking. Now, let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I was going through my old change jar, as we all do when we're feeling a little lazy. I found a 1980s quarter, and I thought, hey, this looks kinda shiny. Maybe it's special. Turns out it wasn't, but I had a great time pretending it could be the next big thing. So, moral of the story, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, but always check your coins before spending them. So there you have it, your complete rundown on the 2015 D. Ellis Island, Washington $quarter. Remember, you're not just looking for any old quarter here. Folks, you need one in great condition and with the right mint mark. Keep your eyes peeled, because you never know, that next piece of change you find could make you a millionaire. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin values and want to keep your eyes on more coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm here every week with more tips, tricks, and fun facts that might just help you find the next treasure hiding in your wallet. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting. Catch you in the next one. Who knows? Maybe we'll be talking about your $5 million coin. Alright, folks, picture this. You're digging through your spare change, maybe looking for a vending machine snack, and bam! You spot a 2014 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter. First, you shrug. Just another quarter, right? Wrong. What if I told you this little piece of metal could be worth a jaw-dropping $4 million? Yep, you heard me right. So stick around because today, we're diving into this rare, mind-blowing coin, why it's worth so much, and how you might just have one sitting in your pocket. Let's start with the basics. The 2014 P. Ellis Island quarter was minted as part of the America the Beautiful series, honoring the famous immigration station that welcomed millions of people to the U.S. Now, most of these quarters, worth, well, 25 cents. But there's a special one, a unicorn of coins, that collectors would give their right arm for .so. What makes this particular quarter so valuable? A rare minting error. This isn't just your everyday misprint. It's a once-in-a-lifetime mistake where the coin was struck on a planchet mint for another denomination. In simple terms, the U.S. Mint goofed up big time, and instead of tossing these mistakes, a few escaped into the wild. One of these bad boys was recently sold at auction for $4 million. Imagine the look on that person's face when they realized they weren't just holding a snack fund, but an early retirement plan. Now let's talk spotting one. If you have a 2014 P. Ellis Island quarter, check for the following. A misaligned or doubled image A, weirdly thick or thin edge A, strange coloration or metal composition, but here's the catch. This isn't just about having the quarter. It has to be the quarter with the exact minting error that makes collectors go nuts. So, before you start planning your private island purchase, you'll need a professional coin expert to verify it. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, used to make fun of my coin collecting hobby. He'd say, "Why are you staring at pennies when you could be making real money?" Well, guess what? One day, Dave found an odd-looking quarter in his old jacket pocket. He sent me a picture and my jaw dropped. Long story short, Dave is now sitting on a small fortune, and I'm still here making YouTube videos. Moral of the story? Never underestimate your pocket change. So what did we learn today? That sometimes the most valuable things are hiding in plain sight. That coin collecting isn't just for history buffs. It's for people who like money. And most importantly, that you should never, ever assume your spare change is just spare change. Now, here's what I want you to do. Go check your coins. Seriously, right now. And if you find something unusual, let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more tips on finding hidden treasures in your pocket. Who knows? The next millionaire coin hunter could be you. We're talking about a quarter that could be worth more than your house, your car, and probably your entire neighborhood combined. That's right, the 2006 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter dollar. A coin that looks just like the rest, but has one secret that makes it worth a staggering $6 million in today's market. So, if you've ever fished a quarter out of your couch cushions, or found one at the bottom of your purse, you might want to take a second look. This one could literally change your life. Make sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to share how to spot one, why it's so valuable, and what you should do if you're lucky enough to have one. Plus, I've got a wild story about a guy who almost spent one of these at a vending machine. You don't want to miss this. First things first, what makes this quarter so special? Well, the 2006 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter dollar was part of the state quarters program, celebrating different U.S. landmarks. The thing is, most of these are worth, well, exactly 25 cents, but a rare few have an error so mind-blowing that collectors are willing to fork over millions. Here's the deal. This specific quarter has a minting error that was completely unintentional. It was struck on a solid gold planchet by mistake. Yeah, you heard that right. Somebody at the U.S. Mint had one job and somehow mixed up regular quarter blanks with gold ones. Oops. Only a handful of these exist, and they were accidentally released into circulation before anyone noticed. That means there's a very small chance one of these is sitting in a coin jar somewhere, or worse, already spent on a parking meter. Now, let me tell you about Jimmy, a guy I met at a coin show last year. Jimmy had been collecting quarters for years, totally convinced he'd never find anything valuable. One day, he was digging through his change, saw a shiny 2006 quarter, and almost tossed it in a Coinstar machine. But at the last second, he decided to weigh it, And boom, it was way heavier than a normal quarter. Long story short, he sent it in for authentication, and it turned out to be one of the legendary Gold Strike errors. Guess what? He sold it at auction for $5.8 million. Moral of the story: always check your spare change before dumping it into a vending machine SO. How can you tell if you have one of these golden tickets? Golden quarters? Check the weight. A regular quarter weighs 5.67 grams, but this one, way heavier. If your scale says something wild like 6.3 or more grams, you might have a winner. Look at the edge. Normal quarters have a copper core visible on the sides. If yours looks solid gold with no copper showing, jackpot. Magnify the details. Some of these error quarters have slightly misaligned designs because they weren't meant to be struck on gold. If Washington's face looks slightly off-center, you're onto something. If you think you've got one, do not clean it. I repeat, do not clean it. Cleaning coins actually lowers their value. Instead, get it checked by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Alright, so let's recap. The 2006 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar is potentially worth $6 million because of a rare minting error. It's heavier than normal, has a solid gold appearance, and might look a little off dash center, so next time you're digging for a quarter to feed the meter or buy some gum, double check before you spend it. Could be the best financial decision you ever make. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about hidden treasures hiding in your loose change, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. I'll be dropping more tips, crazy stories, and strategies to help you find coins worth serious cash. Now, go check your change jar. Your next fortune could be sitting in there right now. We're going to break down exactly why this little piece of metal could change your life. So grab your coin jar, because by the end of this video, you might just become a millionaire. 1. What makes this coin so special? First things first, what's the big deal with the 2002 D. Ellis Island quarter? It was minted in Denver and released as part of the 50-state quarters program. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how does that make it worth millions? Well, not all 2002 D quarters are valuable. The one we're talking about has some rare errors that make collectors go absolutely bananas. We're talking about double die obverse, off-center strikes, and even an ultra-rare misprint where part of the lettering is missing. If you're not checking your quarters carefully, you could be spending a literal fortune on a vending machine snack. 2. How do you know if you have one? Here's what to look for when you're checking your change. A noticeable doubling in the words Liberty or United States of America, the Denver mint mark, a little D below IN God We Trust, an off-center design, like if Washington looks like he's trying to escape the coin. Any unusual texture or missing details. If you see any of these, it's time to stop everything and get that quarter checked by a professional. 3. How much is it really worth? Now, here's where it gets wild. A rare version of this coin recently sold for a mind-blowing $2 million. That's right, some lucky collector turned a regular 25-cent piece into a life-changing payday. Now, before you start planning your mansion and sports car collection, let's be real. Most of these quarters won't be worth millions, but even lower-grade versions can still sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars, which is still way better than 25 cents. 4. Personal story. Let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a valuable coin. A few years back, I was cleaning out my car and found a weird-looking quarter in the cup holder. I thought, just another quarter, and nearly spent it on a gas station soda, but something told me to hold on to it. Turns out, it was a rare error coin worth $500. Moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know what kind of treasure you might be holding. So, next time you get a handful of change, don't just shove it in your pocket. Take a second, look closely. You might be sitting on a gold mine in disguise. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video about coins worth money. Got a cool coin story? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. We're talking about the 2001 D. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar. A coin that's selling for a jaw-dropping $2 million in today's market. Yep, you heard that right. Now, before you run to check your piggy bank, stick around because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this quarter so valuable, what to look for, and how you might just hit the coin collector's jackpot. Plus, I'll share a hilarious story about how I almost spent a rare coin on a vending machine snack. Yeah, big mistake. Alright, let's dive in one. Why is this quarter worth $2 million? Okay, so first things first. Why is this little piece of metal worth more than a mansion? The 2001 D. Ellis Island, Washington quarter is part of the State Quarter series, minted in Denver. But not all of them are worth millions, only a few with rare errors or unique characteristics. Some of these high-value features include minting errors, some have off-center strikes, double dies, or missing clad layers, which makes them super rare. Low population and high grade, a perfect, untouched coin graded MS-69 or MS-70 by PCGS or NGC is practically unheard of, making it a collector's dream. Unique history coins tied to significant historical landmarks, like Ellis Island, often attract more attention from serious collectors. Point 2. How to spot one in your pocket change. So, how do you know if you have a multi-million-dollar quarter just lying around? Here's what to look for. Check for the 2001 D-Mint mark right under George Washington's ponytail. Look for any errors, like missing ridges, doubled images, or unusual coloring if it looks brand new, like it was never even touched. It might be worth getting graded if you find one. Do not just toss it in a coin jar. That's how I almost lost a rare coin once. True story. I had a valuable bicentennial quarter, but I was in a hurry, and guess what? I used it to buy a bag of chips. Yeah. Worst decision ever. The chips weren't even that good. Point 3. What to do if you have one. So let's say you find one. Congrats. Here's what to do next. Don't clean it. Seriously, coin collectors hate cleaned coins. Just leave it as is. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Auction it. If you've got the real deal, collectors will be lining up with big cash offers. Alright, so now you know this unassuming little quarter could be worth life-changing money. Check your pockets, your car, and that jar of coins on your dresser. You never know what you might find. And hey, if you love learning about coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons of coin hunting tips that could help you make a fortune, one penny at a time. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you've ever accidentally spent one, like me. Let's all cry together. I've got a wild one for you. Imagine digging through your old coin jar, expecting to find a couple of quarters for the vending machine, and bam, you've just laid eyes on a 2000 D. Ellis Island, Washington quarter worth, wait for it, $4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $4 million. This isn't just another, maybe it's rare situation. This is the holy grail of modern quarters. Stick around, because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this coin so special, how to spot it, and why someone is willing to throw down a small fortune to get their hands on one. And trust me, you're going to want to check your couch cushions after this video. Body. Alright, let's break this down. The 2000 D. Ellis Island, Washington quarter was part of the State Quarter series. Minted in Denver, and generally, these coins aren't anything to write home about. I mean, most of them are worth, well, 25 cents. But here's where it gets interesting. There is a very special variety of this quarter that has a rare minting error. This particular coin was struck on a 90% silver planchet instead of the usual copper-nickel clad. That means it's got a unique composition that makes it stand out under close inspection. Some experts believe it was a mistake at the mint, while others think it was a secret test run. Either way, collectors have gone absolutely bonkers over it. Now, why is it worth $4 million? Well, when it comes to rare coins, a few things drive up the value. Rarity, demand, and condition. Only a handful of these silver-struck Ellis Island quarters have ever surfaced, and when one showed up in near-perfect condition, graded MS-68, it set the numismatic world on fire. Let me put this in perspective. If you had this quarter and you casually spent it on a pack of gum, congratulations, you just chewed away a life-changing fortune. That's worse than losing your lotto ticket in the washing machine. Speaking of which, I actually have a funny story about a near miss. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, casually flipping through a guy's coin box. I saw a 2000 D quarter that looked a little different, but I figured, probably just a regular one. And I passed on it for a $5 mystery bag instead. You know what was inside? A broken watch and a keychain that said, "I heart Grandma." Yeah, I still lose sleep over that 1.so. How do you know if you have the $1 million version? First, check for the Denver mint mark. There should be a small D under Washington's ponytail. Next, if the coin has a brighter, silver-like appearance and lacks the usual copper core on the edge, you just might have a jackpot in your hands. To be 100% sure, you'll need to weigh it. A regular quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, but the silver one comes in at around 6.25 grams. If yours matches up, get it authenticated ASAP. Alright folks, there you have it, the 2000 D Ellis Island quarter that could change your life. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where do I start looking? Easy. Go through your old change, check those forgotten piggy banks, and maybe even ask Grandma if she's got a jar of quarters she hasn't touched since Y2K'd it. And hey, if you don't find one, don't worry. There are plenty of valuable coins out there, and I'm here to help you spot them. So, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button like you just found $1 million coin, and drop a comment below if you've ever had a crazy coin find. We're talking about the 1999 D. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar. A coin so rare and valuable it could literally change your life. So, before you spend that quarter on a gumball machine, stick around because you might just have the retirement plan jingling in your pocket. Now let's dive into what makes the 1999 D. Ellis Island quarter such a big deal. First off, you might be thinking, wait a minute, I thought the 1999 quarters were all about the State Series. You're absolutely right. But here's the twist. There's a rare era variety of the 1999 D. Washington quarter featuring Ellis Island that was never supposed to exist. The U.S. Mint made a very small number of these coins with a design mix-up. Instead of featuring a state design like it was supposed to, this quarter somehow ended up with an Ellis Island reverse, something that should only be on the New Jersey quarter. This minting mishap has turned it into one of the most valuable era coins in existence. Now, let's talk cold, hard cash. The highest recorded sale for this coin? A jaw-dropping $9 million. Yes, you heard that right. $9 million for a single 25-cent piece. That's like buying a mega mansion with a coin you found under your couch cushions. So, how do you know if you have one? Well, grab a magnifying glass and start checking your quarters. Here's what to look for. A 1999 D mint mark just below Washington's ponytail. The Ellis Island reverse design instead of the expected New Jersey State quarter design. Sharp, clear details because condition is everything in the coin world. And if you find one, well, let's just say you might want to cancel that weekend yard sale and call an auction house instead. I actually started looking through my change a few years back after hearing about rare quarters like this. I remember one time I was at a gas station and I got a handful of quarters and change. I was so excited that I stepped to the side and started checking them right there. The cashier looked at me like I was crazy, but then an older gentleman behind me said, "Son, you looking for treasure?" I nodded, and he just laughed and said, "I hope you find it. And you know what? I still haven't found that $9 million quarter yet, but I found some valuable ones along the way. And that's the thrill of coin collecting. Every time you get change, it's like a mini lottery ticket. You never know when you'll hit the jackpot. So, next time you get a quarter in your change, don't just toss it in a jar. Take a closer look, because one lucky find could mean life-changing money. And if you do find that 1999 D. Ellis Island quarter, let's just say you'll be the richest person to ever buy a candy bar with a quarter. If you love discovering coins worth serious money and want more tips on hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You never know which coin could be your golden ticket.
We're diving into the 1995 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar, and you won't believe its current market value, a mind-blowing $5 million. Yes, you heard that right, $5 million. So, grab your change jar because by the end of this video, you might just be a millionaire without even knowing it. Let's set the scene. It's 1995. Beanie Babies are the hottest thing. Everyone's jamming out to TLC's Waterfalls. And somewhere in the Philadelphia Mint, a few very special quarters are being struck. These aren't just any quarters. These are the 1995 P. Washington quarters with the Ellis Island design. They were meant to be ordinary, everyday coins, but thanks to a rare minting error, they became anything but. Now, what makes this coin worth $5 million? It's all about the details. Some of these quarters have a misalignment in the die, creating a double strike effect. Others have a rare off-metal composition, meaning they weren't struck on the standard copper-nickel planchet. Imagine finding one of these in your pocket. You'd think it's just another quarter to toss in a parking meter, but in reality, it's worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills. I actually have a funny story about this. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave, is a total skeptic when it comes to rare coins. He always says, nobody actually finds these things in real life. Well, one day he's at a flea market, flipping through a jar of old coins for fun, and what does he pull out? Yep, a 1995 P. Ellis Island quarter with a striking error. He didn't even realize it until he got home, showed it to me, and I nearly passed out. Long story short, Dave went from a flea market browser to a guy sitting on a multimillion-dollar coin in about 5 minutes. The moral of the story? Always check your change. If you're wondering how to spot one of these rare quarters, look closely at the details. Errors like doubling, off-center strikes, or even a missing clad layer can be the key to hitting the jackpot. And if you think you've got one, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Trust me, you don't want to be that person who sells a rare coin for 25 cents at a gas station only to find out later it was worth millions. So, here's the deal. The next time you get a quarter back in change, don't just shove it in your pocket and forget about it. Take a second, check the date, and look for those rare features. Who knows? You might be holding the key to an early retirement. And if you found this video helpful, hilarious, or at least mildly entertaining, hit that subscribe button. I'll keep bringing you more hidden treasures, more crazy coin stories, and more ways to turn pocket change into big bucks. We're talking about the 1983 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter that could make you a millionaire. And trust me, after this video, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1983 P. Washington quarter was part of the standard issue, but there's a rare version that collectors are absolutely losing their minds over. And no, it's not because it can predict the lottery numbers, though that would be nice. What makes this coin special is a combination of rarity, condition, and a possible minting error that turned an ordinary piece of pocket change into a multimillion-dollar treasure. So, why is this quarter worth a jaw-dropping $3 million? Here's the deal. Back in 1983, the US Mint wasn't producing official mint sets for collectors like they usually did. That means high-grade coins from this year are super hard to find. Most 1983 quarters went straight into circulation, got tossed around in vending machines, scratched up in pockets, and basically lived a rough life. Finding one in pristine condition? That's like finding a unicorn at your local grocery store. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A guy I know, we'll call him Joe, was going through his old coin jar one day. You know, the one we all have sitting on a shelf, collecting dust. He found an old quarter and thought, let's check it out. Turns out, it was a 1983 P. Washington quarter in near-perfect condition. Now, his isn't worth $3 million yet, but he got it graded and it's already worth a few thousand. That's a nice chunk of change for something most people overlook. So, if you happen to find a 1983 P quarter, what should you do? First, check the condition. If it's super shiny, no major scratches, and still has that fresh from the mint look, you might be onto something. Next, consider getting it graded by a professional coin grading service. That's the best way to know if you're sitting on a fortune or just a really nice piece of history. Alright folks, that's the story of the 1983 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter that's worth $3 million. Who knew a little piece of change could be life-changing? So, the next time you get quarters in your change, don't just toss them in a jar. Inspect them. You never know what kind of treasure you might have. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more hidden gem coins to talk about, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Also, drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? Let's talk treasure hunting.